Hi, everybody. This is Trevor Conquergood. Welcome to this week's RNK Software Club's video for the week. And this week, I've got my great friend Matthew from RNK Office with me today at the support desk. Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Good.
Happy holidays to
Happy holidays.
everybody. I think we have this video scheduled to go out right around the new year. And so, Happy New Year to everybody, 2024. Guess what, Matt? It's our 20th anniversary for RNK Distributing in
That's great.
2024.
That's great. Yeah,
Pretty
absolutely.
exciting.
Exciting.
So it's great to have you on for our first weekly video of the year. Or maybe it's the last one of 2023, but whichever it is, I always appreciate when you come on because it gives me a chance to tell you how many great compliments we get about your customer service and how quickly you help people. I know you can't always be right at their fingertips, but you're never seemingly very far away, Matt. So good job, buddy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're
My
welcome.
pleasure.
So, and it's always fun to hear what kind of questions you're getting. And so, as always, Matt, what would you like to talk about this week?
Well, of course, at this time of year, um, lots of people have questions about lace and freestanding lace and how they can make lace designs or do lace effects with the Floriani software.
I couldn't agree more, Matt. I mean, I this time of year make a lot of lace. It's kind of a Christmassy thing around my house, but it's not. It's lace all year round, actually. And but what I think might be interesting to people is to know what designs are in the free monthly designs. You know, that are how many lace designs do we have? Because there's lots, and I can highlight a few of the ones just from the last few years that I know about. And then we can look at the cool tools the Floriani software has to make lace. Because honestly, this time of year, Matt, that's what I'm stitching is lace here. Let me go full screen for a minute and show some of these cool lace designs. This is from the free monthly designs from 2023. These are the smaller ones. There's also a beautiful bigger one. And you know, we do one of these cool ones almost every December. So going back several years now, you could have a whole collection of snowflakes that you would have made. And so I'm going to show you guys how to make a snowflake today, essentially. But there's, you know, it's not just for Christmas because we've got this was cool and I made it even smaller, you know, and I've often give these away when I am traveling, just having a little something in your pocket to pull out and gift to somebody. There's cool kind of Celtic work that looks like this. These are all designs that were kind of made for the RNK Software Club, Matt. This one says good luck. It's like a coin, you know, good luck in 2021. Well, how hard would it be to update that 21 to 24? You know, if you own the software, that it's super easy to just change the date like that. And these are other designs that these aren't necessarily ones that came for free, but people often love to see. This is Walter Floriani's lace. I mean, talk about um, if anybody was good at making lace, it was my friend Walter, you guys. And isn't that's sewn with metallic thread? This is, I know a lot of people have the Floriani family lace collection. I know that that is still available. I sew it in different kinds of thread just so that I can learn, you know, how does it look if I sew it with the cotton thread? And then how's that different than when I use my metallic thread? Anyhow, Matt, sometimes you never know and you just might need a lace banana. I'm sorry, I'm just being silly. But there's tools for that, right? It's like literally a one-click thing to make lace with Floria. Okay, everybody wants to know how to make fancy lace. Well, there's more to learn, okay? And this you can learn to make crochet, you can learn to make doilies, but just starting with the one-click tools, you can do a lace background, right? So if you have a design, you can instantly turn it into a lace background. And so let's go ahead and get onto the Floriani software and just take a look at how easy and kind of cool all this stuff is. So thanks for the question, Matt. You really just put it up there on T for me. So what I'm going to do is switch over to sharing my workspace. And this is the design that I was showing you that I stitched about 20 of these. You know, everybody in my family will get one at Christmas time. And I like to put the Mylar inside. So notice I got this design by looking in the library tab where it says, and I went to December, and you could go to December 2019 all the way up to December 2023. Every year, there's been a set of these sort of snowflakes. So usually there's a nice large one, and then a medium size and a small size set. So if you put that together, that's like 5 big large ones, and I guess 10 mediums and 10 tiny ones, kind of thing. So quite a few to choose from and make. Essentially, this is a design that'll have 3 color stops, but I often just sew it in white. Matt, I'll just do white, white, white. The first color stop is sort of a mesh, and that's really one of the first lace tools we have is our mesh. We have an easy, instant, any shape could be made into mesh. It's as easy as that. Then I put a border around the outside, and then you can decorate on top. I mean, basically, once you have a lace with a mesh with a border, you can put whatever you want on top, you know, and that's kind of how these designs stitch out. And so there's a lot of designs. If you go looking in the library, you can usually tell the ones that they are. But let me point out a few. So, for example, if you go under February, and it was February 2020 when that's where that I love you heart, that's another lace design that has a mesh background. You know, what makes this one unique is it doesn't just have a solid border. It I did like this extra kind of, whoops, go the other way, kind of like a scalloped border. So the idea here with all of these, Matt, is you have to sew it on the Floriani Wet and Gone. And that is the magic product that, you know, don't try and substitute for another brand. Get the Floriani brand, because I can sew all of these designs beautifully, and the material never comes apart and never comes out of the hoop. It always holds up to all the stitch layers. And these are the photographs. Let me just show what I'm talking about. So this is your Wet and Gone stabilizer right here. And with the Wet and Gone stabilizer, you when you hoop it, you want to use the perfect grip tape. And so what I'm talking about here is this sort of stuff right here. I have a roll of it from R&K. I always bring it to my events, and everybody gets it, right? Because it's so important to grip the material with the hoop, you know, and it goes in between the fabric and the inner hoop ring. See that? Not the other way around, right? It's so it's doesn't touch the machine in any way. It's just between your fabric and your inner hoop ring, but it really helps it hold. Because I don't know about you, but my hoops hold really well in the corners, but it seems to be this long sort of side here that can, the fabric sometimes doesn't hold well, especially when it's just a thin layer of Wet and Gone. And that magical fabric can hold a lot of stitches, but it needs to stay in place. And if it doesn't stay in place, Matt, what's going to happen is the border might not line up with the fill, because the fill, the mesh, that sews first. Before I sew the mesh, I put down Mylar. This would be optional. You don't have to have Mylar in your lace. Not all my lace has Mylar in it, but Mylar makes your lace sparkly, and it gives it an extra kind of rigidity to it as well, helps it stand up nice, hold its shape. It's a very fine layer of, also a very magical product that you can get from R&K. It's called the Embellish Mylar, and it's kind of a pearly product, and you just embroider on it, and then it tears away. It's the lightest topper you could buy. It's a topper. Yeah, it's a topper. I always remind everybody to match your bobbin thread to the top thread. So if you're not making white snowflakes and you're making pink ones, trust me, I've made purple ones, blue ones, and all kinds of colors. People love to get purple snowflakes. It's fun. But the point is, make sure you match your bobbin thread to your top thread. And I like the QS bobbins. If you got, something that uses a class 15 bobbin, we have pre-wound bobbins and all kinds of like 40 different colors. So notice I stitched, this is the picture of the after the first color is stitched. And so the Mylar is still there, but now it's time to pull it. And I just take it off. It literally just pulls away. And now you're ready to sew the little border. and then the embroidery on top. And isn't that beautiful? Like all white like that. And I'm telling you, everybody will love it. Now, when you're out of the hoop, make sure you clean it up before you get it wet. Trim any loose threads, trim your tie-offs on the back fairly close to the embroidery. Don't cut the knots off, but cut the little tail threads away. That way it looks nice and clean from both sides. And I always keep my excess wet and gone, Matt, because there's lots of great uses for the excess of it. We could talk about that another day, but point is just don't get, cut it down and then take it to the sink. And you don't run water through it. You don't want to highly agitate it. You just in and out. Hot water, hot sink water, in and then out. That's it. And it'll be a dissolve almost instantaneously in hot tap water like that. And you can just run a little extra tap water down the drain to rinse that away. And it'll be, I just lay it on paper towel and tamp it dry and then lay it on my table or lay it on the kitchen table, lay it on the cutting mat, whatever you want. But once it's dry and it takes 6 or 8 hours to be fully dry, you can put a string through them and hang them in the tree. And aren't those cool? So you can bring the snow no matter where you live. So it's easy to do it. And so now, okay, that's how. So the last part is like how to make it, right? If you want to make your own, and it couldn't be easier if you have a shape you want to fill it in with lace. So literally the lace banana, I was kind of joking when I said, you never know if you might need a lace banana. Well, if you happen to have the artwork shape that you want to turn into lace, and let me just move that banana over to my side a little bit. So that is our artwork, Matt. I just have selected like a vector image of a banana. It's on my screen. I have it selected. And when I have it selected, down at the bottom are all the different styles of embroidery. Well, it's over towards the right. In fact, it's almost to the very end of the right. It says auto lace. And right there. And what that does, I'm just going to click it now. It's going to make an embroidery design out of our banana. And what it did is it made 3 layers of embroidery. And you can see it if you look in the sequence view. The first layer is like a mesh, and that's really the background for the snowflake is that sort of mesh background color. But the second color is a border that goes around it. And the third color is another border that goes around it. And so with our auto lace tool, you get a double border. Now, I'm going to say the double border is optional and you don't have to have the double border. In fact, you could. Sorry, man, I got a text and it popped up on my screen. It's just my kid. So that's all good, I guess. But you might be hearing the binging, so I don't know how to stop it, but that's okay. Anyway, they are fine. But what I'm trying to say here is you got the double border. And but you can select it and get rid of one of the borders if you want to. And so notice a lot of times I'll just have like a single border. So if you look at the snowflakes, so really, when do you want the double border versus when do you want the single border? Kind of just depends on if you're putting other stuff on top of it. If you're not, and you just really the double border really helps it hold the shape is the main thing. But if you're already decorating on top of the mesh with another color, sometimes just one single border is all you need. And so either way, it's super easy to do. If you already have the embroidery design, you know what I mean? Like if you're shopping in your embroideries. And let me see here. If I go to my library, I have, let's go to April. It doesn't matter. I just want something to turn into lace. So if I click on designs, it should show me. It's kind of gotten slow, I noticed, ever since. Sorry, Matt. Just be patient because my screen kind of got slow on me for a second there. There, it woke back up. I think it was when I got the text message, it kind of disrupted my video flow. If you have a design, like just add design that you wanted, do as a lace and have a lace background. So this bunny was not normally made to be a lace embroidery design, but I could select a design, and this really is any design. So go ahead and select it. And up at the top, There's a couple tools that we love, and one of them is actually the nap control, and the other one is the auto lace background. And so the difference here is nap. They both put a mesh. Nap control puts a little bit of a tighter mesh and typically does like a run stitch around it, whereas the auto lace will do a little bit more of an open mesh and put the double border around it. But both tools kind of, I use them both quite often. So watch, if I click auto lace background, it gives me a little dialogue. And I guess the question is, how far around the bunny do you want the lace to go? And you can outline the shape, or you can just put it on a shape. You could choose a shape like diamond or square or triangle. So if you want to make a diamond with your little bunny around the outside of it, you can have it make a lace diamond that would hang in the window and hold the little bunny on top, sort of like a little, what do you call those? Dream catchers for your windows or something like that, Matt. So it can, be beautiful, be see-through. You could put the mylar inside, but the bunny would still be kind of the star of the show on top of it. So really, I think people are really attracted to Floriani because of the fact we have these tools that kind of almost automate the process of lace. That said, Matt, if you want to design, and just to give you an example, if I make a line, and so I'm just going to use my pencil to like click, a couple times, whatever, and sort of draw a little bit of an angle, shape. But notice what I can do. I'm going to select that. Now, like always, when you create artwork or have artwork, you can convert it into embroidery. It's all these buttons down at the bottom. There's a whole selection. And towards the end, right beside auto lace, there's one called a mesh steel. And the mesh steel is a special steel stitch we use all the time. The difference here is in the underlay. If I zoom in on that shape, like perhaps even closer, and I'll just turn off the 3D for a moment so you can kind of, well, that didn't help. Let's get even closer. You can start to sense, yeah, not really. Now, if I turn off 3D and click away, so there's an extra layer of underlay here that, I don't know, sometimes I think it looks like train tracks because you can kind of see it has rows that go back and forth like this, and then other rows that go back and forth, and it creates, let me just do a new workspace so that I can demonstrate this, Matt. And we'll just do a shape. It could be any shape. So we'll just click on a shape, but we'll make it the mesh steel. And then when I zoom in on it and do the slow redraw, you'll see that it does this fancy underlay. Can you see that? Let me zoom right in right there. It's doing the underlay stitches. And that's what makes it so that that column has extra strength to be a lace piece, right? So that's another tool in our collection that we have and we can learn about. And so one last thing, and I'll just show you a cool design or a cool stitch out, but sometimes, oops, we'll omit the finish and just leave the underlay. And so maybe you might make it a little fatter so that you get like an extra wide border like this. And it looks, so I have to zoom in so you can kind of really see what I made, but it's quite an interesting border. And that's the one, Matt, like, let me just come back on screen again, and that'll be us there. That's how this was made. So that's kind of a unique mesh. This has got mesh fill and mesh steel. So both, this one has both tools. And really, it was just a spirograph type design, right? So I think the Floriani software is kind of famous for these tools. That's a mesh steel. And like I said, if you never know, I'm just teasing you, Matt. Thank you so much for the question. I don't know if that really answers it. There's a lot of great lace designs if you go looking in. It was January 2021. If you want to make the New Year's Eve the good luck coin, but essentially making all of that lace is going to be the same as the snowflake. Because you're just going to hoop up your wet and gone, make sure it's well held with your perfect grip tape, and stitch whatever you want on it, as long as it's well digitized, and if it has the mesh background with the border around it, you can pretty much get away with any design you want. So yeah, thanks for asking, Matt, and I hope everybody enjoyed the video today.
All right, thank you so much, Trevor.
You're welcome. Until next time, Matt, have a great day.
Bye-bye.